right. So I just wanted to have you on here tonight, and I have heard your story, but everybody else in here is not. So I want you to just, first of all, talk to me about, because your journey in becoming an elementary music teacher is a little different than some. So I would love for you to just share, like you've told me before, how you became an elementary music teacher. I know it's kind of a long story, so feel free to expand on it as much or simplify it as much as you want.
I'll do it really briefly. You know, I went back to school in my 40s to become a teacher, and I taught first and second grade. And then I just had a really rough couple of years. Decided I was going to take a break from teaching and last year, and it came to be August, and I started to feel like, well, wait, do I really want to do this? Just happened to, from a Facebook group, hear that a music teacher was needed at one of our local schools. So I went and looked, and I went, wow, I have a K8 certification, and that's all that's needed. And so I called a friend who taught music, and I was like, what do you think? And she also has a K8 certification, so she isn't a music major. And she's like, I think you should try it. And they were pretty desperate. The job had been posted for the entire summer. I mean, since May, actually. So I applied, and 2 days later, I was getting my classroom ready. So it was pretty fast. So yeah, and I had a super fun year. Really enjoyed the kids. I'm going back again. So I'm super excited, though.
Well, that's awesome.
Spent a bunch of time looking at harmony today, and I wish I would have had it last year. I mean, yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes.
No.
Yes, you're good now.
Okay. Yeah, I was just saying I'm super excited because I just feel like I'm starting at a different spot. Well, one, to have a year, but also then to have all that support. So it's pretty exciting. I was just telling my husband about it. So.
Oh, good. Well, thank you so much. I mean, that really makes me feel good because, like I've always said, it's not about me. I have created things that I know, and that's why I picked, certain teachers' brains. I had a lot of one-on-one conversations to really find out what music teachers are needing. And I went through, and even I was telling them when I was trying to reconnect, and one of the things that I know you told me that a lot of music teachers face is when you see those national standards and they're very vague, and you're just kind of open to interpretation of what do these musical terms mean. So I included that in the lesson plan packs. And so, because I know you're not what I always say is if one teacher has a question, it means other teachers have the same question. And that's the honest truth. So one thing I want to ask you is, you were a member just for a couple of months of my former membership site, which was, I've told people it wasn't bad. I just shut it down because it just was not, it wasn't what I wanted to create from the beginning. It was like sort of helpful, but you didn't really know where to go in there. And so what are you already noticing is different about Harmony than you did about the previous membership site?
I joined and I didn't look a lot at the last one. I mean, once I jumped in and was teaching, I was kind of on totally overload. But one thing that I noticed today as I was buzzing around and looking at what was in Harmony, everything's once I figured out that I needed to click on that left-hand side and click on the classes, I watched your video on how to navigate. Once I figured that out, I was like, wow, it's just all right here. And so I think I'm hopeful, by the way. I think, isn't that the second one?
Good.
The not totally overwhelmed, but the one up.
Yeah. And so
I was like, okay, I think that's me. So.
Yeah. And so there's identifiers to identify where you are. And one thing I really want to encourage, which I'll talk to you guys about that all year, is it's okay if you feel like you go back to feeling burnout. And it's okay if you end up getting totally to feeling confident, because the whole point of the success path is that you feel like you can go back or forward as you need to throughout the whole school year. And so, So what have you looked at so far as you've been looking through the resources?
Well, I did your 5-day challenge that kind of took most of my time in the last week. Totally. And honestly, I had big plans this summer. I was going to do all this work, and I think it was actually better because I ended up not working very much. And I think that actually was probably what I needed to do personally. But today I was looking at all the, the beginning, the intro videos.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was just kind of bopping around and looking at, um, like the overview and the scope and sequence and all those things. And I didn't stay for a super long time because I was just kind of like, oh, I just want to kind of look at
Right,
everything
right, right. Just kind of looking
and
around.
see.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Awesome. Well,
mhm.
looking around in there, how do you,
And there
oh,
was
sorry.
so much that I was like, wow, there's a lot here.
Yeah. Yeah, there is. And that's why in the school year, I intentionally am giving you guys an implementation week, because I want you to have a week to catch up on anything that you feel like you are not able to keep up with. And that's why I'm not going to be doing too many Facebook lives. And that's why I'm only doing one mentorship call a month. But with that said, you're still going to have the encouragement and support inside the members Facebook group, and you'll have access to me anytime. Well, not anytime, maybe not when I'm sleeping, but you know what I mean, to email and ask questions. And but yeah, it's about just helping you beat the overwhelm by having the resources you need. And if, like you said, if you don't have time to go through them all right away, that's totally fine, because they're there when you need them. And you know what you need. Some teachers need to come in right away and access the lesson plans. Some need to access the training videos to help them beat the overwhelm. And it's just about what you're needing, because every teacher is different. So what are you looking forward to moving forward this school year? How do you feel like Harmony is going to help you to beat the overwhelm and to move forward in your teaching this school year?
After spending a year, and I'm sure other people who have many more years of experience feel this way too, I have some favorite things that I did last year. Um, but then there would be the panic of, okay, but what am I doing next?
Mm-hmm.
And to have those lessons and to, you know, put those things that I really loved that I did last year and also have the lessons. I'm really looking forward to that. The other thing that I'm really looking forward to is, having came from a gen ed classroom, I'm
Mm-hmm.
used to having another, say second grade teacher
Right.
in my building across the hall.
Right.
And I
Yeah.
really missed that last year. I was really lonely. I mean, it was like, and though we had our monthly meetings with the district and all the music teachers, it wasn't that day-to-day contact.
Right.
And during the 5-day challenge, that was one of my favorite parts, is that I'm starting to connect with music teachers and so I'm kind of excited about that side of it
Yeah.
too, is not only the resources, but the connection.
Yeah. And I've met music teachers where there are, in fact, I did my student teaching, I mean, years ago, but in a large school. So there was a lower elementary music teacher and an upper elementary, but that's very, very rare. And normally, and I say this a lot, that the music teachers, you feel like you're on an island on your own sometimes, because although you have a team, it,
Mhm.
and your team is great. Don't get me wrong. You know what I mean by the PE teacher, art, computer, librarian. But let's be honest, I mean, you can relate to each other because you're called the specials teacher or whatever your school calls you, but they can't really help you plan lesson plans. They don't really know how to help you implement that lesson. They don't know how to help you with, you know, classroom management some, but they don't have instruments in their classroom, and all those things that only an elementary music teacher really honestly gets. You're right, and that is so lacking, because I've heard from many music teachers too, where other music teachers in your district, maybe, but even if you do, sometimes if you feel like you emailed them to ask questions, they're not really getting back to you, or they might be getting back to you really late by the time you already got your question answered. So it gets a little confusing and a little lonely sometimes, like you said. So that is a huge part for me, is wanting a place for music teachers to be able to collaborate with each other. And I've loved that about the challenge as well. It's been incredible. So I just really appreciate you coming on and having this interview. Do you have anything else you want to say before we go?
So
Go ahead.
just excited for the new year. Excited to be going back to music too. It's going to be fun.
Awesome. Yeah. Well, thank you so much, Brenda. I really appreciate it. And I'm excited to see you in Harmony.
You bet.
Have a good night.
Okay, talk